way back down. Freedom of speech is enshrined in the land. God, we freedom, jealous and they in Cuba. Russians and Chinese and lucky like we. Right now, North Korea, wish they had it too. Most of the Caribbean, lucky like we. Studio Galaxy Day for you and me. Galaxy Equalizer, ready like Freddy. And Studio Galaxy 473 in Confero. We freedom of speech is sacrosanct. Make use of it. Let no one challenge. Blow your shell, beat your drum, tell others. Like and share, subscribe and discuss it too. Let the world know Studio Galaxy is around. Galaxy in Confero, hope you know. 473 standing strong is yours, you know. The medium, an opportunity for you. Make your contribution, let them know. Blow your shell, beat your drum, tell others. Like and share, subscribe and discuss it too. Let the world know Studio Galaxy is a road. Chinese and lucky like we. Rand and North Korea, wish they had it too. Most of the Caribbean, lucky like we. Studio Galaxy Day for you and me. Blow your shell, beat your drum, tell others. Like and share, subscribe and discuss it too. Let the world know Studio Galaxy is around. Studio Galaxy in Confero, hope you know. 473 standing strong is yours, you know. The medium, an opportunity for you. Make your contribution, let them know. Democracy in Spice Isles is alive and well. Ask you questions, sing and beat you drum. Make you suggestions, encourage them on to walk the straight and narrow.
Welcome again back to our program, Studio Galaxy 473 in Confero. And we're on the second part of our program. And you know, this one is pure politics. Remember to share our program and like our program. We are the new kid on the block. Encourage your friends, those who listen to us, to subscribe to our program. That is important. Let our program grow. Share it. The number to call is 536-2558. And we're in Studio Galaxy 473 in Confero. And we are the Galaxy Equalizers. Your humble servant is here with you today. And the question we ask is, are we prepared to question our politicians for the sake of direction? We have people who enter politics. You always have to remember this is a democracy where people come to you or you go to people and ask them to represent you. In yesteryear, we had more of the situation where people was agitating, representing, canvassing on people's behalf. Because people might have been extremely poor and individuals wanted to make a difference. You had people like Uriah Chubal, Uriah Buzz Butler. You had a number of people throughout the Caribbean that wanted to see things better. Slavery was there, harsh working condition. Children unable to get educated. And they gave up a lot of what they had. They made a lot of sacrifice to improve the lives of the people. But in this dispensation, politicians are heavily paid. In Grenada, over the last 3 years, the politicians' income have increased much more than 300%. Shocking. The politicians have been flying the world as if they're a hostess. And I believe a lot of their travel was not genuine. They have been traveling for the purpose of amassing wealth. Every time they travel, podium is provided for them. Some of them have been accused of running up hotel bills in excess of $30,000. I believe the time has come for us to question our politicians. Some of our politicians flaunt certificates, master's degree, doctorate, PhD, and they want to bamboozle us with a level of education. Are we prepared as a people to question our politicians, to see if we could determine what direction they would take? It's not about just capitalism and communism anymore. You know. China said it's not a black cat or a white cat. You know. It's a cat that's holding a rat. And some people might ask, whose corn you want the rat to avoid eating? Sometimes they don't care if the rat eats your corn. We have an economy in Grenada that seems to function at the will of the West. Why do I say that? The four main contributing areas of the Grenada economy is the selling of passport, remittance. That is when your people in the diaspora send back money for you. St. George's University and tourism. That is the four main areas that significantly contributes to our economy. Agriculture is a far cry from what it used to be before. We export nutmeg, cocoa, soursop, and fish. And agriculture been dwindling in relation to the other areas of the GDP. Our education system is wanting. 70% of the children who exit school are unable to be competitive on the job market. The prison is overpopulated and the government want to build bigger jail. Our health system look as if you go dead. Are we prepared to question the politicians that are putting up themselves to represent us, to try to determine the direction they would take. We have a principle of one man, one vote. And from 1983, the electoral process in Grenada have been free and fair and free from fear. Free from fear. And the opposition, the one who loses the election, that is important. The side that lose election conceded defeat within 24 hours. And there have been no successful challenge of the democratic system. So you can select a government and then you go blaming the government. You have the authority to determine who represents you. We have 15 constituencies in Grenada, and we're choosing somebody from the constituency to represent you. Well, Grenada is small constituencies. Maybe 3,000 or 4,000 people voting. So you're supposed to know who are the individuals that represent you. You're supposed to have a fair idea. If you want to know who is the grandmother, you're right. If they thief sheep when they're little, you're right. If when they went to school and they get 6 mango, they suck in all, you're right. Ralph Gonzalez came in Grenada and he explained to you how powerful the Prime Minister of our country is. Very powerful. The constitutions practically provide for the Prime Minister to be a dictator if he wants to be. Those who serve in his cabinet serve at his beck and call. If the Prime Minister don't want you in the cabinet, he get rid of you tomorrow morning. All you have to say, he loses confidence in you and he don't have to give you a reason. The check and balances is that you could move a motion of no confidence in the government if you could win in court, if you could win in parliament. You could put on the government. But even that, the government could prorogue parliament to have a longer shelf life. So I think it is of paramount importance that we have the ability and we want to question our representative, starting with the person who represents you in the constituency, to know if it's an old thief you're putting in power. To know if the person you're putting in power slippery like a snake. To know if they're feeling in third slip. To know if they have a hidden agenda. To know if that person is against marriage. To know if that person want to marry 5 wives and you want to beat them. I would be disappointed if I was a woman that consider myself a traditional woman and I vote for a man that believe in beating up women. Because that man really just gives him the moral authority to beat your wife. How you going to know that? You have to prepare to question your representative. And even if they come from your political party, it's in your interest to know what in the closet. Because sometimes what in the closet could well determine who they are. That person like to pay for good relationship. It's an important thing. If you select a politician that from the time they're over 18, they're paying for good relationship, that means they believe in bribery. Later on, you cannot say, I don't know. So you must know. There are some big issues in the world today. One of them is gay marriage. I want to say, if you have a politician that believes and support man marrying man, that is his belief. Nothing's wrong with that. But if you select that person to represent you in the constituency, you are giving that person authority to make policies. And later on, if they pass laws that man could marry man, you shouldn't be upset. You ought not to be upset because you gave that person the authority to make policies in your interest. You have to know if the person you're selecting to represent you in the constituency supports pro-choice or pro-life, whether they support abortion, whether they believe that you could take the life of the child unborn, and some of them believe that a child 9 months is unborn, so you could kill it in the womb. And they say that is a right. Your body is yours. You could do what you want with the body. I am not saying that anything wrong with that, but I'm saying you ought to know what your representatives stand for. You have some cultures, a woman could marry 2 men. 2 brothers. She could marry 2 brothers. The rationale for that is the people don't want the land divided. So if they leave the land, they want the 2 brothers married 1 woman. It may be very logical. There are some societies where women could have 2 men too. And there are some societies where a man could have two men could have 1 woman. So you have to know the people have their culture. You don't know what a culture is. But you now are selecting a representative that can be changed the policy of what you stand for. So all I'm saying, you must know what your representatives stand for. So you okay with it? Are you okay with a man marrying a dog and a cow? They're liberal, Some people advocate you could do what you want. Your body is yours. Well, if your body is yours, why you can't marry a dog and a cow and a woman? Have you ever thought about that? The person that represents you, do they believe in that? Does the person you represent a beat the wife? Or you like to beat woman? A woman like, or the woman like to beat up the man? You must know that. Because if the representative you select like to beat, the spouse like to beat one another, they might legalize it. Another man might God. Say that woman more rude. Let us advocate legalize so we could beat up women. You see, all that is important. We have a situation in the world today where Donald Trump came to power in the United States. And I must say, several of the policies of Donald Trump, I agree with. But Donald Trump seems to be a jackass sometimes. And he seems to be very untactful, a moron, and doesn't understand that agreements that he signed and agree, and not he but the government signed, he should not unilaterally walk away from the agreement. Even if he felt it is disadvantageous, he should sit down and negotiate it. That one sometimes difficult. It's like the trade union in Grenada go in agreement with government. But after they believe they are slightly disadvantaged. But they're not supposed to unilaterally walk away from the agreement. So Donald Trump is very untactful in his dealing. But democracy gives him so much power that he can take this action unilaterally. So in Grenada, the Prime Minister of Grenada, Dick Mitchell, take the unilateral action to flaunt the regulation of the GDB Bank that was there since 1973 for the purpose of enriching members of his government. And that is illegal and morally wrong. But Deacon flaunted the law with impunity. But Deacon was a cat in a bag. We did not have the opportunity to know him. So in hindsight, if you were able to question him, you might have recognized that this individual would take high-handed unilateral action, and you would have been forewarned. We have a number of new politicians in the arena now. The NNP has just selected 4 of them. I don't know them. I've heard the name Amanda before. I've heard the name some Glynn before. Giuliani Glynn. I've heard the name Japal before. But I don't know them. I don't know if when they're in primary school they used to thief. I don't know. It is in our interest now to question them so we could know what they stand for, what they believe. We have this secular world lobbying seriously, and they are making a lot of Christians look like saltless Christians. Some Christians afraid to sign themselves. Some Christians afraid to pray. Some Christians hushing their mouth when they meet atheists. Because the atheists, the Marxist, Leninist, communists, and the people who are not certain whether they want a Sissio Flato or Material Butu is seriously lobbying the authorities that be. And their voices seems much louder than the Christians. So you ought to know whether you want an atheist or communist to lead you in Christianity. That is why I believe it is necessary, it is important for us to use every opportunity to question our politicians or those who enter the political arena. They are the ones who make policy. Is that policy that would determine every aspect of our life? Your education. Sometimes the government do not want much people to be educated because they want to preserve the class structure. And if they educate too much people, they would be seriously damaging the class structure. Eric Gary got a lot of fight back from the intelligentsia, from the remnant of the plantocracy and the privilegencia when he built 28 schools in 13.5 years. They said, when Gary educates all these people, who going to work the land? Because they believe then that if you educate the black man, you will not work in the land. They believe then, if you educate the black man, he will not work in the land. And the class structure in Grenada would be seriously diluted. So if you don't ask questions and you don't know, you may be well selecting politicians that does not seek your interest. A lot of people in the Imani program are finding out that now. You remember in 2008, the NDC promised to give the Imani $1,000. They said they shouldn't work for that. When they came into power, the Imani get scared. So they asked them, are you firing us? They said, no. You will love you as how we love with children. We won't fire you. And about 2 weeks after that, they fired him. In 2022, they told the Imani, what we did in 2008, 2013, we're sorry. It was a political mistake. We won't do that again. We're going to make you permanent. Because there is no need for a parallel public service. All Grenadians who working with government should be permanent. And that is easy to do with the stroke of a pen. And the Imani fall for them again. And then when they reach in power, they start firing the Imani again. And they did not make them permanent. We have a lot of examples in the past. A man just cannot, supposed to just come to you. Well, I not say he cannot because they're doing it. But he shouldn't able to just come to you and flaunt his certificate and smile and trick you. It means that you have been bamboozled. You have been very gullible. So one of the things you could do is to question him. When you're questioning them, watch them in the eyes. Find if they're ducking. If they're avoiding simple questions, then you know he might be a trickster. You must know if this politician believes in mercy killing, euthanasia. They say when people old, kill them, put them to sleep. You're wasting taxpayers' money by maintaining these old people who are terminally ill. So put them to sleep. You must know if the politician is going to advocate closing down the home for the elderly because they believe these people is a liability. You must know. You must know if these politicians go lock up Rasta and put them in the cow pen again and jail them. They did it before. They lied to the Rasta before. The Rasta believe. And then they trick them. But if you question the people in the constituency, the people who come to represent you, instead of they doing all the talking, ask them questions. They may let the cat out of the bag, and you may not be tricked. You have to know. Many of you know your children. You notice when you give your child something to share with another one, they're looking for the bigger half. You notice They have appetite like a cemetery. You notice that they are not showing any compassion in the house. You notice the line. So in later years, that child was supposed to fool you. You know it's a damn scam you make. And it's hard. It's very difficult for parents to recognize that the child they make do good. It's so easy to identify other people's children as do good, but you're ashamed to say yours do good. Some children just waiting for the parents to dead. And they would expedite the process because they find the parents living old. So if you question the politicians that come to represent us, you would know if they're just coming for the money's sake. Politicians of yesteryear had to contribute significant of their personal owning to help people. Today we have a government that come in that increase the politicians' income by 300%, that give them another $10,000 to buy ice cream or eat a rum for you now and then, and decide to give them a car to campaign. They're not politics. That more look like prostitution and bribery. Pope Francis, the first Jesuit that lead the church, he said we want a poor church for the poor people. That's a fundamental statement for a Catholic. We want a poor church. They're asking for what? For the poor people. Because those in the church start to believe they're better than others and want to punish the poor for being poor. So if you have a politician that believes that he should not make sacrifice to help you, and he must be well paid, and he must fly all over the world and go to a party in Dubai and attend a birthday party in St. Lucia because I'm a politician and I'm doing you peasants that vote for me a favor. Who you go blame? Who you go blame? The people say, boy, this girl you there with it, she go make you see trouble. The parents like the boy. But all what they tell the boy, you don't hear. No, he calling parents, the girl beating him up. The parents say, we beg you. He there in the river with a big basin of clothes, washing clothes in the river. The parents say, we warn you, but you didn't hear. Our people in Grenada are very fortunate to have experience that other people in the Caribbean don't have. We have the experience of living in a land called the Island of Conflict. We had the Federal Rebellion. After Federal take over Pilot Hill in Grenville, that was a good base. Federal recognized that the Lagunats betray him in tongue. Federal recognized that the revolution failed. So he started making for the Belvedere. The Governor General was in Paraclete. When he realized Federal take over Battle Hill, he afraid to pass Granatang. So he making for the Belvedere. He and Federal bungs up. Well, you know that is history. He was killed. When Morris Bishop come out from away, since he reached on the airport, when he look at the contingent that come and meet him, and he watch the face, Morris Bishop afraid to pass Granite Town. He was afraid as Ninian home. So he make for Bottom Road. He afraid they'll kill him in Granite Town. We must know. We mustn't bury our head in the sand. We have too much issue. We had the era of Gary. We had the era of Mr. Blaze. We had the era of George Brizan and Mr. Braffett. We had a few days with Uncle Ben. We had the era of Kit Mitchell, the most successful politician in Grenada and the Commonwealth, the little master, the one who liberalized the telecommunication network, and the most tolerant politician in Grenada and the Caribbean to criticism was Kit Mitchell. So we have seen different plateaus, different standards. We able to recognize different template that has been set. Should we be fooled again? Should Rastamen be fooled again? You were told under Bishop they would legalize weed. And when Rasta realized is after Desmond Trotter and Ras Nanan. Can't remember the next one. Go to Bishop and have a meeting. Desmond Trotter nearly fly out of Grenada, you know. When he faced Bishop in a meeting, he realized, let me get out of Grenada quick. The band that came from England on Boris Bishop invitation from Paraclete. After they reach in Grenada, they nearly freak. They realized the nice bishop in England was a different Morris Bishop here. We knew Morris Bishop hide behind women and children. He was a coward. He always hid behind women and children. Even on the last minute, after he evoked the Angola option and he knew the result was coming, he still used the women and children as a shield. Morris Bishop let them go to re-establish communication with the rest of the world. People know. The people of Montreal and Tivoli, they know. Should we in Grenada make the same mistakes again? Who are we going to blame? Who are we going to be blamed? We have to ask the people who wants to represent us. Question. And if because you support them, you don't want to ask them questions, you should glad when those who don't support them ask questions. If you know the politicians that you have, you could practically predict what they would do in a crisis. Would they sell out the country to the biggest bidder or the quickest bidder? Sometimes they don't even wait for the biggest bidder. We know that during the period 2008-2013, the government sold 13 pieces of property and they sold land that did not belong to them. They sold property that they did not have the legal authority to sell it. They still sell it. They behave like those guys in Prida Lassini. They borrow from the farmer without the farmer permission. We know they did not pay NIS. We know. Are we prepared to continue behaving like a recurring decimal and make the same mistake again? Why should we have a politician among us that's afraid to answer question? Why today, 50 years after independence, we have politicians in Grenada that we are supporting that believe information should be given to us at their whim and fancy? We have to ask questions. Why we should agree and support a politician that believe that we in a lower socioeconomic strata, a lower social class than them. That we don't deserve the right to be respected. So we should be spoke of in an offhanded, very dismissive way. Why? So a lot of times we have our own self to blame. We cannot hide the truth. We have to prepare to live in the house of truth. When you're speaking to somebody, watch their eyes. Sometimes they can't face you. Sometimes they're lying as when horse trotting. The old people say, if you truly want to know an individual, you must have free food and free drink. They say later on, if you want to know a man, you must have free drinks, free food, and plenty women around. And then you're going to determine who you are. We must look at the character of the men and women who want to enter politics today. If I choose school life, money can pass in hand, they're robbing. When they get more money, you think they're going to rob less? Ask the butcher of the Congo. He became the butcher of the Congo because he wanted to live a luxurious life in Belgium. So he ripped the skin of the back of almost 20 million Africans so he could live a luxurious life in Belgium. It was the imperial power in Europe that appealed to the Belgian government, to restrain the butcher. How in Grenada today we are closing our eyes when people are becoming official parasites on government coffers? Why are we afraid to ask those who want to represent us questions? Why are you supporting that they shouldn't answer? You're going to leave to haunt us. Our children would suffer. The economy is going to go back in free fall. We're going to deal with cultures because we readily accept the first man that come with money. A lot of women has fallen in this trap. The first man that come with money, they accept that. Sometimes a bunch of $5 with $200 bill cover the pile. And they abandon the man with assets and potential wealth. And they get entrapped We must ask questions. We must know. We cannot have all this certification and be cards. And you could go back and quote Albert Einstein. He warned us to be careful with the intelligentsia, because them and morality are not very good friends. We have to ask questions. And we have a right to ask those who are putting up themselves to represent us at the highest level, to make policies of us, for us, to ask them questions, hoping we will be able to predict the direction they will take. If you take a greedy, immoral bunch and put in charge of your destiny, they might sell you in slavery if they get a chance. Always remember, the black man sold his children and his brothers in slavery. Yes, you could blame the white man. The white man don't have no damn right to buy people. But the black man don't have no right to sell to. So our black leaders are equal to blame, if perhaps even more guilty. We have to ask questions. We have to ask our leaders questions. And our leaders must be prepared to provide information for us if they are seeking our interest. And if they're hiding from answering questions, if they're reluctant to provide information for us, if they're getting angry when we're asking them questions, it may well be that they are not seeking our interests. It may well be that they are being paid for good relationship. It may well be that a third party is guiding our political leadership. We in Grenada in a better position because of our historical experience to ask questions, to provide reference to our politicians, and to demand our politician answers. If they're not in the seat of power yet, and they don't want to answer questions, when they have power, they're going to say, no, they'll close down radio station. They're going to financially strangulate radio personalities. They would deny the children scholarship. They would not let them benefit from opportunities. And they would consequently contribute to the economy in free fall. We must know what is the economic policies. We must know how they intend to grow the economy. We must know how they intend to treat the elderly, the physically challenged, and disadvantaged children. There are some schools of thought that say, show me how you treat your elderly. Show me how you treat the children, and I'll tell you what kind of person you are. We in Grenada have to be careful. 50 years after independence, we were supposed to reach the level of maturity that we have better economic exchanges. The technology affords us the medium and the opportunity. So in this modern day, if we are suckling and dancing around and avoid knowing, we don't know what type of leaders we have, crapo smoke with pipe without tobacco. I beg you, my people, question the NNP politicians. Question the NDC politicians. Question the politicians that may arise from the movement. Otherwise, ants go bring the news to you. Your children will be buried in debt. Our economy that is dependent on remittance, St. George's University, tourism, and the sale of passport, to a lesser extent, agriculture, could grind to the ground. We could end up with bigger jail, more violence, and greater poverty. We could avoid that by asking our political directorates or potential political directorates questions. We're going to know if they're cowards. We're going to know if they're in it only for the money. We're going to know if they are regurgitators for the multinational corporation or if they are genuine thinkers. We have a duty and a responsibility for the generation unborn. We are here. The children in primary school today, they can ask these questions. The children in secondary schools, they seem to be deeply engrossed with the enchanted nature of the social media and the computer. They're not bothered. We have a responsibility to ensure that we fix the pitch for them to bat. We don't have to tamper with the ball, but we have to try to fix the pitch for our children to bat on. It's going to be hard for them if we don't select politicians of good character, that is compassionate, that is all-inclusive, that morality plays a significant role in the character. But if we choose politicians that like the gala life, that hungry for money, that is fractious and divisive, that have hidden agenda and want to put us in prison without charge, without trial, and without an opportunity to defend ourselves, we will not be able to blame anybody because we made that decision. And our children's tears will be shed because we didn't do a good job. I want to encourage all and sundry. Every opportunity you get, ask the people who come in front of you question. Don't afraid to ask about the character. Don't afraid to ask them what they believe in. Don't afraid to ask them what they stand for. If you don't, you will be supporting somebody you don't know. And you will not be able to predict what direction they will take. You may well be supporting somebody that one expensive gift make them surrender your sovereignty. You remember the cry from the Minister of Foreign Affairs Remember the passionate cry from him? And when he evoked even revolutionary spirit to express himself, and suddenly he was changed to a mama pool, it could well be that he was received. It could well be that he might have received a gracious offer like Ron, and he could not have refused it. We have to know these things. This country is too beautiful. We have achieved a lot over the years. I often say that to people. Grenada is the biggest landowner in the region based upon our population. More people have land based upon the population than any country in the region. They have freehold. They could make independent decision what they want to do with the lands. Gratis irrigation. Electricity, telephone, water, and internet is second to none. Comparable with the best and better than most. And we must say thanks to Kit Mitchell. They believe in that. Look at the level of infrastructure we have. We have a better network of roads than anywhere in the region. And the roads are relatively good. Governments to come just have to have maintenance and keep up the pace with the infrastructure, with the developmental realities. Discretionary income, a stronger middle class. And you must thank Kit Mitchell and the NNP for increasing the middle class in Grenada. Over 68,000 registered vehicles in 110,000 people. Over 20% of our teachers drive themselves to school. The teacher to children ratio is better than most developed countries. And the quality of our school buildings are better than most countries in the Caribbean. And you must say, thanks to the NNP. They believe that. The best program in Grenada in the last 100 years, the Imani program, was instituted to give people a second chance. We have history on our side. So we must question those who come now to want to take us to a new level, to make certain that the economy does not go in free fall. We come to the end of the program. Well, we want to thank you for listening to us. But we want to provoke discussion on that. Grenadians, we have only ourselves to blame if we did not question those who come to the arena to continue the development of this country. We want to encourage you to subscribe to our program, share our program, like our program, and we're back with you again next week Saturday on Pure Politics.
Ask you questions, sing and beat you drum. Make you suggestions, encourage them on to walk the straight and narrow in the land. Politics, religion, and economic issue, regional, international, spiritual issues, too. Agricultural, environmental.